Welcome to Not Ashamed. I'm your host, Ashley Nordman, and today I'm back with my friend, Kathy Helbig-Strick.
When you're at these conventions alone as a woman, and
I always hear about like sleazy stuff happening because there's a hotel right there, so they can just take you on up to the room, and it's like everyone's drinking and they're away from their wives. You hear all this crazy shit.
So
Is that real?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Oh my.
So I got a little bit of that, but I wasn't as extroverted to get a whole lot of that at the time. But I saw bits and pieces and had little experiences with.
So you're just like people really around the environment.
Yeah,
These people being
kind of making me uncomfortable a little bit. But again, I'm married. I have a kid.
Yeah,
but that my brain.
You know your boundaries, hopefully, to just be like, and bye.
Right. And so now I'm going to events with this company that I'm an owner at. See, before I was just a lowly salesperson going to all these masterminds and conventions,
trying to gain your knowledge and things.
Trying to get your knowledge. So, but now I'm one of them, right? Mm-hmm. I'm an owner of this company, and so you're thrust into rooms with different people. Mm-hmm. And I remember the very first time I went to a regional event here in Kansas City. And everybody was so excited about one of these speakers. The guy that was speaking was on faculty of the company, and he was, he had a big following. He was very, very vivacious. He was infectious, and knowledgeable. And people were they were coming from all over to hear this guy speak. So I go there, and we walk in, and so they're introducing us, and they introduced me to the gentleman. And he's like, "Oh, Kathy Helbig, I've heard of you." And I'm like, "What? You've heard of me?"
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You've heard of me?
You get like butterflies.
Yeah. And I'm like, I've been seen all of a sudden after hiding in my basement for all these years. And I didn't know how to handle that. It felt good.
Yeah.
It felt good. And so he just kind of like connected with me. And I'm like, this is a good guy to know because he's way up in the company.
For sure.
There's things that they brought me on this company. They kind of lured me with, you could get into coaching and we'll teach you how to coach and build this career of other things besides just selling houses, which was my allure.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, this is cool. So we end up we have a dinner that night after the first day event, and there's only like 10 or 12 of us going, and, the main guys going with us. And we go to dinner, and he's like, you need to sit by me, like that kind of thing. And so I'm like, I feel honored, Again, I'm very, very naive to this kind of stuff at the time. So I sit next to him, and then it's like, oh, your fingernails are so pretty. Like, I love that red. Like, and he's like touching my hands and stuff. And I'm like, and my partner was there. My partner was a little bit like, he was a guy. And he's like, what's going on, And so I was almost kind of weirdly jealous because my partner and I had some, not sexual at all, but
definitely like tension a little.
Yeah, like a love-hate type thing. And he didn't want to be overshadowed by me because he came to the company before I did. But then all of a sudden I'm getting all this attention.
For sure. So he's like jealous.
Yeah, because he never really sold. And so part of me was like, he used that to his benefit too, but he also hated it because I got the accolades that he didn't get.
Yeah.
So I can see him like getting weird about this whole thing that's going on, and I'm a little weird about it. And then he's sitting with me in the car. So we all cram into this car. We're like right up against each other. And he's like,
caressing your leg.
A little bit of this. And look at my fingernails again. And then we're sitting, and at dinner under the table, I get this.
No, he's rubbing your leg under the table.
What's happening?
And you just like go along with it because you're like, well, this is a big wig, and I don't want to make a scene about this dinner.
Yes. And so my heart is like racing, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can like push him off. I don't like your. So you're having this internal battle,
literally,
constantly. Of like, part of you is like excited that he's paying attention to you and that there's potential opportunity that's going to come through this relationship, but also like, I can't hardly breathe because I can handle this, but what's going to happen if he tries to push it to the next thing? So like, it's just so much stress. So that continued to build over the next couple of years with that particular.
Like every time you saw him?
Every time I saw him, yes. Oh. And then I would get inappropriate texts, like some building, like start off with business stuff, and then all of a sudden there would be some things said, or it just was starting to get weirder. And And then, he did introduce me to some opportunities, which is what made it hard to be like,
you kind of feel trapped. Like you're trapped.
Because I was getting some benefits out of it.
Yeah.
I felt like I can handle it. Yeah. I'm married. Like, that's kind of my thing. Like, I can kind of walk that fine line of let them be flirtatious. Maybe I can use that to my benefit, but I can always throw down the gate and be like, dude, I'm married.
Yeah.
Like, I can stop it. Like, that was kind of, I think, my mindset, if I even really thought that much into it, because there was so much confusion.
When it's just like what you went through at the car dealership, just at a whole nother level.
And so there's that going on. So I would see him here and there, different things. And then I end up having my direct leadership at this company come in, and it was a different type of sexism. He was abusive to women. And he wasn't flirtatious at all, but he was almost like a bipolar. He sucked up to your ego, and he would be like, oh, you're such a rock star. Yeah, we're gonna build with you. You're gonna make all this money. We're gonna promote you. You're gonna do this and this and this. And so you're like, okay, like this is what I want to do, because I don't want to just sell houses the rest of my life. I want to like build on my expertise and my knowledge and take it to other levels. So I connected with this guy who was my direct authority over the whole Keller Williams organization thing. And then he would flip on a dime and just rip you to shreds. Just cut you down. It turns out he was an old football coach, like a high school football coach.
Oh, really?
And it's that intimidating type coaching
to get their way, to have control.
And I do not react well to that.
I don't either.
Down.
Same. My nervous system freaks out when people do that.
So it was very tumultuous. I was only like 4 or 5 months into the company. I get this guy that's basically coming on to me every time I see him at these events. I got this partner that loves me one minute, hates me the next minute. And then I've got the guy that's over all of us, really over all of us, that's getting fast-tracked in the company. Eventually became the CEO of the company that I owned. And he is, being abusive in the way that he handles people, and basically set me up for failure, because they got me to run on the gerbil wheel and do all these things. And then once you meet these achievements, then you're going to get the rewards. And he basically came in. I was supposed to get another office given to me, and then I would have, more profitability off of 2 offices instead of 1. He came in and undercut me and opened the office himself after the work that I did to open it for a year, found the agents, found the investors, like all these things. He derailed me and stole it from me, basically.
The football coach guy?
Yes. And then demeaned me, and then basically just kind of like banished me within the company. So I'm like in this position of like, this guy is abusive, and he's really targeting the women, because I started hearing other women had very similar paths to me, that he would come in, pump you up, get you to work for him like crazy, get you to achieve all these certain things, and then come in and wipe it all out from you.
Yeah, he would like breadcrumb you, and then when you give him what he wanted, he'd rip it out from under you.
Totally. So now I'm getting calls from women all over the country that were comparing notes, and some of them ended up filing lawsuits.
Really?
Yeah.
So this became a big thing.
Became a thing. Yeah, and there's still some lawsuits going on. And so that was my time. I spent 10 years at this company, and I spent 5 years trying to get away from it. But I was locked in as an owner. Like, as a real estate agent, you can change your company every day if you want. You should walk in and have a piece of paper signed, and you walk out with your license, and you can change.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that because I was part owner of this company. So I couldn't just go, hey, I'm moving my sales team to, Coldwell Banker tomorrow, because now I would be competing against my own company.
I see.
And I would be in conflict of my contract, and then I would lose all of my shares and things that were worth money.
We'll get back to the podcast in just a moment. This episode is sponsored by AN Skin, your answer for all things skincare and beauty. Our medical-grade products, made in the USA, use high-quality ingredients and are clinically proven to give you clear, healthy, youthful skin. Everything is cruelty-free. Visit anskinbeauty.com to shop now and regain your confidence. Now, back to the episode.
So I spent a 5-year period fighting the establishment just to get my freedom and to get release my licenses so that I could go work somewhere else. Then I've got these people inside that company that are also the same guys around, that he's starting to have some cracks that he's seen. And so they're using my vulnerability of what's happening with this guy as like a way to move in closer. And then I'm going to unaffiliated business conferences. And again, like, it's always the men. Like, you try to get invited a seat at the table of some of the stuff that you can maybe get opportunity from. But it was so hard as a woman to get that seat because either A, people don't want to invite you. It's a boys' club. So you either have that you're fighting, or B, you were there for the wrong reasons. They wanted to flirt with you. And at that point, I'm like, I'll take the seat for whatever reason. Just to get the seat. Because guess what? I'm a pro. I had to show my tits back when I was 19 years old.
Yeah, I can handle that.
I can handle this. And I can, like, use it and then put my little gate down when the time comes. So it started, like, coming at me from every angle. There was always somebody somewhere that had ulterior motives to get to me as a woman and to objectify me as a woman. And it was all about sex, basically.
Wow.
And so it was hard to trust people. And again, I think I started becoming even more and more introverted, but I knew, like, if I just keep going, I'll meet the right people and somebody will help me. Because I didn't have a mentor. There was no women mentors. It was always the guys that were successful. It was always the guys that were in the CEOs, and the management of the companies. There was rarely women. And so I ended up meeting this other guy. So now guy number 2, right? Guy number 1 was the dealership. Guy number 2 was the guy that was the teacher at the company and was touching my leg and the nails and stuff like that. And so eventually he kept coming on strong. He would always try to set up meetings in his hotel room.
Oh gosh.
Like, let's do breakfast. I'll order room service. Come up and then I'll teach you this and that. And then we're going to get you fast tracked with this and that. And I would always figure out how to, I won, but I can, how about we meet down in the lobby? And we do that kind of thing. So it always wiggle my way out of it barely, but still keep my toe in that they're interested enough that he's still throwing me some crumbs here and there, right? So eventually got to a point where he I think it was right at some crossroads in his life too. I think he met somebody. And he also, I hadn't seen him in a while because I pulled back and we were all going to the same convention. And I hear from him and I was like, oh, it's been so long. I get a text and he's like, hey, are you going to be at Miami? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, actually, I am. And he's like, oh, hit me up. We'll get ready to board this plane. And I want to get with you. I miss you so much. And blah, 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 blah. And let's get together. What hotel you staying at? I want to make sure that we're ready. It starts like, I feel it coming again.
Yeah.
I've like had a break for a little while. I feel it coming again. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, let's hook up when I get there. And I'm like, note to self, don't stay at that hotel. Like, I get some distance between us.
Yeah.
So this is kind of what ended this abruptly. I went to text my friend that did know about it. She's an agent that at this point, she's now working for me on my team. She knew about it. And so we would laugh and like compare notes. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe who just popped up and reared their head again. Blah, 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 blah. Just text me. And he's trying to get me to do this and that. And of course, he's wanting to know where we're staying. And he wants to have a meeting in his room. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, totally like, I accidentally sent it to him.
Oh my God.
You know, one of those misdirected text
Yes. It's like your brain wasn't thinking and you typed in their name because you're talking about them. I freak out when I send texts like that.
Girlfriend. Oh, I sent it and I knew he was on a leg and he hadn't got it yet. Because he just texted, I'm getting back on the next connecting flight.
Yeah.
I'll hit you up when I get home. So I sat there like stewing for 2 hours, knowing shit, as soon as he lands and that phone gets turned on.
As long as 2 hours
I'm
are like
mortified, so I'm like trying to like, joking, just like I'm sending all these follow-up texts to like try to.
You're digging a deeper hole. You look so guilty.
Totally.
Like, that wasn't about you. That's what the other creep ass asked.
Exactly. I'm like trying, and obviously didn't work. And then he kind of just like he responded with something, but then he didn't make attempts to connect with me down there.
He
so
did.
I totally busted him, basically. Yeah, but I didn't.
But in a way, it like worked out.
In a way, it was good.
Yeah.
And then eventually later, I ended up getting like this long apology, and he. Because it did spur a conversation. I said, listen, I'll be honest with you, you did put me in some really complicated position. I was really uncomfortable, and I did like you as a person, and I did look up to you. And, it wasn't fair. He's like, you're absolutely right. Apology. He had met a woman at this point in time.
So that helped.
Different.
That helped. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we made peace with it. you know, at the time.
Yes.
And he went on, left the company and went on to another company and saw, you know, a lot of success there. He married that girl that he ended up was in a relationship at the time. So hopefully he changed his ways, and you know, then he did pass away this year.
Oh,
yeah. So that was my second one. So now I'm at these conventions and things, and then there was another man that I ended up meeting, and he was a big consultant and pretty big in the industry, like across all brands, and he was very much involved and on the boards of some of the third-party platforms. I won't say which names, but like the Zillows, Trulias, Realtor.com, real estate platforms. And so I meet him one night at the convention. We start talking. He's like, "Oh, you're amazing. You're so smart. You're so blah, blah, blah," like that whole thing again. And so, and again, this is that time when I'm beaten down because I can't get out of the company. I can't succeed at the old company that I own. Like I'm feeling trapped. I'm in at this point, my marriage was not in good shape because I just worked my ass off all the time. And I was trying to figure out ways to get my self-esteem built back up again from all the things that were getting beat down with on the career side of things. And so I wasn't in a good place there either. And so this guy's like, "Oh, you're so amazing, blah, blah, blah." And we sat up all night because I had a red-eye flight going out. So we sat up and talked, and he was just like, "You need to be coaching," which is what everybody used at the time to get my attention. "You need to be coaching. You need to be on bigger platforms. You know, you're too smart to be just sitting in St. Louis, blah, blah, blah. Let me connect you with this company. They need to meet you because they're building their platforms out and they need to meet you." And he did. He got me a seat at the table to go present to these people. What I was presenting, I had no idea because I didn't have a coaching company or anything like that at the time. But he's just like, "Oh, I believe in you," but he makes this happen. So, but the string attached was, and I knew he was flirting. He was like, "You're beautiful." And at the meeting in Las Vegas, he was obsessed with what I was wearing and what kind of shoes I had. And at the time, like, I was not a designer person. I could have been Ferguson. I was expensive purse with Michael Kors.
Right.
And he's like, "Do you have red bottoms?" And I'm like, barely knew red bottoms. Well,
yeah.
No, he's like, "You don't have red bottoms?" I'm like, "Gosh, a woman like you needs to have red bottoms. How come that you met in your life and bought your husband hasn't bought you red bottoms?" Like, blah, 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 blah. So that kind of comes crossroads again, because when he sets up this big meeting in California for me to fly out and present this coaching program, which I don't even have. So I spent 2 weeks like, "Oh, I'm going to build this coaching. I don't even know I'm pitching." But hey, I'll be there. Like, I'm going to go. I'm going to go take my shot, right? So I go, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm picking you up at the airport. All I need you to do is just pack a little black dress because I'm taking you to dinners and things like that." And I'm like, "Okay." So he's hosting me in California. I'd never been to this part of San Francisco he was at or whatever. So he wants to tour me around Union Square. Him and his brother picked me up at the airport. And then he's like, "Okay, before we do that, I'm taking you to lunch at my favorite place." And then my brother's going back, and I have my own hotel room rented and stuff. And then he's like, "But I'm taking you shopping in Union Square." And I'm like, "Oh, no." He's like, "No, we are doing that. You deserve to be treated like a princess, like a queen, blah, blah, blah." And so I'm fighting him. I'm like, no, I can't do, He's like, I don't have anybody to do this for. Let me do this. Yeah. There's no strings attached. I just want to do this for you. And so it's like this pretty woman moment that I never had. And I actually kind of craved out of my 22-year marriage that I didn't have to.
Yeah, like someone's spoiled.
Some of my needs I didn't get met were around that type of thing. Yeah. And so I'm literally like, I keep fighting him, saying this is not a good idea. No. And he's not taking no for an answer. So I'm like, "Look, fine. I'm telling you, it's not going to go. It's not going to lead to anything. I'm married. Right. And if I'm telling you no 50 different times and you're still wanting to sit, then fine. All right, let's go."
Yeah.
So he walks me into Saks Fifth Avenue. And I come down this escalator, and we land in the shoe department. And he's like, Get her some shoes.
Get her some shoes.
And I'm like, what? And it's like, it literally was surreal, like a movie. And they all come running around me. And they're like, what about these? What about these? What about these? And I'm like, oh, those are cute. They're like, she needs the red buttons. Blah, 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 blah. So they're fitting me for all these shoes. It's like, it's perfect. It's perfect. And blah, blah, blah. They're $800 shoes at the time.
Yeah.
I probably didn't even spend $99 on shoes.
Yeah.
Of my life.
For real.
And he's like, bag them up. I'll take them. And I'm like, you know, it's exciting, but I'm also like,
but it's like kind of giving sugar daddy.
Yes. Yes. He was a little older.
Okay. I did ask, but I'm like, is he older?
No
Okay.
attraction to him at all.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in his probably late 50s to 60s, late 50s at this point.
Okay.
I was in my 40s.
So he's just craving feeling like he has all.
And he's not married.
Yeah.
And he's never been married. And, you know, so he definitely was, you know, enamored with me. So then we go, I'm like, oh, I think you shouldn't have done that. And he's like, no, you deserve it. Blah, blah. He's like, okay, let's walk down here. So he's like, all right, one more step. I'm like, oh, no. He's like, yeah, we're going into Victoria's Secret. You need to pick out something beautiful to wear under your black dress. I'm like, no. He's like, what?
Literally lingerie.
Beautiful women need to feel beautiful. And I'm like, no. So we're literally, I'm fighting. It's like, I don't care what you pick. Just go pick something for yourself.
You go get like sweatpants.
You won't be seeing it. He's like, I'm not expecting to. And I'm like, all right, well, I kind of do need a new bra. So, all right, let's go. So, I did need a new bra. So, like, okay. So I go buy.
The wires are popping out of here. So like, I really
go pick a bra and panties or whatever. And it's just so awkward standing in line with him behind me. I've got a bra and panty in my hand. I'm literally like trying to like fold it up so they can't see it or whatever.
Oh, my God.
So we check out there and I'm like sweating bullets at this point. Now I'm thinking of dinner and
love spell is just spraying around you. It's the Victoria's Secret.
So he's like, oh wait, one more stop before we go. And I'm like,
no.
He's like,
I swear to God, if he picks out a ring or something, I'm like,
Tiffany's.
No.
He walks me into Tiffany's. I've never been into Tiffany's in my life.
I actually don't even think I have. No.
And he's like, pick out something pretty, and I'm like, dude, I can't do this. He's like, stop it. I'm telling you, this is more for me than it is for you. And I'm like, whatever. So we walk around and we pick out, I picked out a bracelet, it's $500.
Yeah.
It's a bracelet. And so I'm like, okay. So that was we made it through. And he did not come on to me. He drops in my hotel. I get ready alone. And he's like, I'm picking you up for dinner, blah, 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 at such a time. He takes me to this beautiful place. They have a piano bar. It's like so romantic. Like it's just like, and he's like, yeah, I had to wear the shoes and my black dress and the bracelet.
Did he have like rules, or was he just like, please?
That was kind of like, I just want you to wear the shoes.
Like, just wear the whole thing tonight.
Yeah, like that's your thing. Like you brought the dress and then I accessorized you.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay, so I do. I hobble out in my heels that were the most freaking uncomfortable shoes in my life. I still have them. I still can't wear them. I'll call them the bedroom shoes because they last for like 20 minutes. I can take those suckers off. So I do. I hobble out in these shoes and we go to dinner, and you know it's a nice dinner and the piano's playing and it's like it's such a nice place if you were into somebody, but I wasn't into him.
Yeah.
And then he professes love for me.
No, stop it.
And says, you know, he's so attracted to me, you know, blah, blah, blah. I know you're married. I said, I am married. Again, not happily married at the time.
Right.
And of course, they picked that whole, but are you happily married? And it's like, it doesn't matter if I am or I'm not. I'm not looking for a relationship with another man.
Exactly.
To leave this relationship for another man. Like, that's not where I am right now.
When you live your life with integrity, you're not going to do something like that, regardless. Yeah.
That wasn't really my thinking. It was more my safety net. I don't care how happy I am with this marriage, you're unhappy, because I wasn't happy.
True.
And
like, he doesn't need to know the details.
He doesn't need to know all the details.
Yeah.
He knew. You kind of know after getting to know each other over time, and you can kind of figure it out.
True.
You know? But so I'd love to say it was because of my integrity, but it was more of that safety thing.
Okay, you know? Yeah, that's fair.
And so he said, well, then let me ask you this. Will you at least, if you decide to leave your marriage, can I have a shot? That's all I ask. how you sit there, look at the guy, and say, dude, I'm not attracted to you.
Exactly.
That's
After you
like,
spot that was
you know, and I don't know how I weaseled out of that, but I somehow weaseled out of that answer without saying yes or no. You know, it's like,
I mean, you gotta give the man some,
yeah,
I guess some credit for shooting a shot. But my goodness,
shot. And you know, we remained friends, and I would get like swimming suits in the mail and things every once in a while.
he really wasn't a sugar daddy. He would just send you stuff.
Trying to be, but he wasn't getting anything. The most he got out of it is I did give in to taking a picture of me in the swimming suit, not naked.
Yeah.
Because I never sent any naked pictures.
No,
I was smart enough for that.
Yeah.
But I did take one photo on my boat with me in the swimsuit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was like the only thing I ever sent him.
It's so interesting that you bring all this up though, because like
And I felt shitty about that.
Yeah. But I feel like they get like off on that stuff or something, because I actually worked at a car dealership in college for a very short amount of time, and this older guy ran it, and he would like always try to take me to these nice dinners and like buy me stuff, and I didn't even think about any of this until he started talking. I'm like, wait, this sounds a lot like this guy. And in hindsight, like he was single, and I think he was just looking for like attention from someone, and so he'd always just like buy stuff for me. And then later, I felt like he kind of started like coming on to me, and I realized it. Like it was so innocent at first, and then when I realized it, I like quit and like stopped working there and stuff. But then I felt like guilty, like I almost brought it on myself.
100%.
Do you kind of feel like you felt that way too?
I beat myself up all the time. There's shame involved.
Yeah, there's so much shame. You're like, I asked for this. When you didn't, you just got kind of like coerced into it, and then you liked the attention, and then you're like getting stuff out of it, and you're like, I don't know what else to do. Yeah, it's such a weird place.
So weird. And I could never connect with women. Like, women didn't invite me to those meetings. Women didn't invite me to a spot at the table. So they were all out for themselves.
Yeah.
Because at the time, they were probably fighting some of the same battles of trying to climb the ladder in a man's world, too. And so bringing some other chick along the ride with you, hell no. They were like, back off, sister.
Exactly.
I got a seat here. I'm not making one for you.
Yeah.
And I think that was so challenging compared to if I would have been a man growing my business like I was growing, I would have had so many more opportunities, because it would have been at face value.
Exactly.
Everything would have been at face value, the opportunities, the invitations, things like that. But there was so many that was masked around ulterior motives. And then when you don't move forward with whatever they're trying to get, you're kind of cast off then. So it was very, very challenging to keep people at bay without making enemies with people, right? And I think I became a pro at that. Yeah, so eventually that gentleman passed away also of a heart attack just not too long ago. So I'm literally like, man, these were the guys that were pivotal memories of my life, of very, very stressful times that I also felt like had some opportunities involved, and it did get me, some leeway in making movement in the business, but also held me back.
Yeah.
As well. And so I was pretty disillusioned with trying to make these outside relationships. In the meantime, my ex and I split, and I meet Steve. And Steve and I, Steve's in the mortgage business. And so I hadn't seen this guy, hadn't passed away yet. I hadn't seen this guy. He would pop up every once in a while and send me a text message and stuff like that. But I didn't tell him I got divorced, because I didn't want the pressure of him coming back at me again. So we have an event coming up in New York, and I invite Steve as the mortgage person to go with me. And at this point, we're starting to switch from business to personal. It's starting to bleed over, and not everybody knew about it yet. So it was kind of this undercover thing. And so when we get to New York, we could be more overt about it.
Yeah.
And so he's walking into rooms with me, and clearly we're probably together. At that point. And we run into this guy. And it's funny, though, because everything changed for me in my world once I had a partner with me. Because it was either safer for the men that weren't in it for the wrong reasons to have a lady involved, because, they don't want to be assumed that they've invited me to something because I'm a cute girl.
Exactly.
So I didn't get those. Now we're getting those invitations because it's me and Steve.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's kind of sad that it took that. But then I'm also thankful that I spent those 20 years, I call them my dots, because I look back and think on my life, all these little, what seemed insignificant dots in relationships and meetings that I had with people that didn't seem like it got me anywhere or materialized anything. But then all of a sudden you see the lines drop between two of the dots, and then a few more lines connect over here and a few more lines. And so it took me building my business kind of over again with a partner that was male, where I started seeing some of those safety lines came out and connected some of those dots and caused us to have opportunity that I probably never would have gotten as a single lady.
That is so crazy. I feel like you just had so many challenges as a woman in this industry.
Lemonade out of lemons.
And you did, yeah. And while it took a long time, I mean, I'm sure you're like me. You look back and you see all of that as like a blessing in a way, because it made you stronger and it made you fight for what you wanted, and you didn't let any of that stuff stop you. I mean, it's so inspiring.
There's now so I can go to that stuff and learn and not be a victim. Not
exactly. Now you're not victimized at this stuff. Yeah. You feel safe.
I would get text messages from other people like, oh, you're late. You're so sexy. Just all kinds of stuff happened at those conventions. People trying to get you drunk and take you to bed. Like one thing after another. And now I don't have to deal with any of that. I go there feeling as a professional, as an equal, and I'm not a target.
Yeah, it's like you can breathe, because that's a good way to say it. You're not a target anymore. Like now you can walk in and do what you're there to actually do, which is why you were there all along.
Exactly. And it's sad that women have to, still to this day,
it is.
We have to deal with those type of things that hold us back, because that held me back.
For sure.
On a lot of levels.
But you still were so wildly successful despite all that, which is what's amazing. But it's also so sad, because so many women go through these things and they carry so much shame, and it would stop some people completely. And it never stopped you, because you're very strong-willed. But there's women out there that probably get set back.
Like, survive. But I think that's why I did feel this need to build a platform for other women, because when people are like, oh, who's your hero? And I'm like, I don't have one. Oh, who was your mentor in your life? I really didn't have one.
You relied on yourself.
Yeah, and that's kind of sad, because there needs to be more women mentoring women.
I agree.
And that's how I built my team. Yeah. So over time in real estate, the attraction always was, bring a woman in that it's challenging to have children and have careers. And I'll be honest, even as a CEO, there's me as the girl, right? And there's me as a salesperson and a real estate agent. But there's also Kathy, the CEO.
Yeah.
And Kathy, the CEO, 100% understands sometimes hiring a woman for something has a lot more challenges to it, because they come with, they got to care for the child. They're not only are their sick days going to matter, but their kids' sick days are going to matter. They got to take off for field trips. So there's definitely disadvantages sometimes that I recognize as a woman that we have to break through to be able to advance, because we do have different baggage.
And we have different roles that just are different for females and men, unfortunately.
Yeah. And so, I get that why women get passed up sometimes, because they can't spend 80 hours a week, just grinding. But on the same token, if I could build something that helps a woman come in and figure out how to be successful in a field like I did without sacrificing their entire life to it, because I did. I sacrificed my marriage, my kids, like I wasn't home near as much as I should have been. And I didn't want that for other women. So that's why I built this model of support that you can come in and still go be a mom, and we can carry you while you're at that field trip. We can carry you, because when you're a single person in real estate, you're a one-man show, that was almost impossible to do. So I kind of feel like I broke through those walls of, okay, I did it by myself. I did all the things that, yes, made me successful, but also cost me. And so if I can help figure out the next person how to do it successfully without costing them as much, I'm here to do that. And that's how I built the team. And unfortunately, what comes along with that is it was a turnover. So you'd find these women, they'd be attracted to me. I'd bring them in. I'd help them. I'd help launch them. I'd help grow them. I taught them everything I know. And then over a certain amount of time, they're not going to stay, because now you've given them wings.
Yeah.
And it was very hard. It took me years. It's still a challenge sometimes to let them fly without feeling like it's a kick in the gut that they left you, because part of my business would be not being the sole person selling anymore. You're I'm spending my time teaching people and mentoring people, so I've got to make a piece of their commission to survive. So you bring people up and you got to have a bunch of people that you're making a little bit out of.
Yeah.
And then they leave, and you're giving them all these relationships that you built over the years. Part of your business leaves with them. Yeah, so it's kind of like this continual, repeating your tracks, which can be very hurtful. And it was challenging for me. Every time I lose somebody, I would be sick for months.
I relate to that. I do. I think being a business owner, you're kind of a target in a way at times too, because people like see you as an opportunity sometimes, and you're so kind and giving because that's just how you learn to survive growing up, And so it just ends up kind of, those are the people you attract, but you're doing such great things.
And think about it. No one stayed. Like the relationships I've had, they've always had an expiration to it.
I know. That's what's like so sad. But then now you have Steve, who's so steadfast, and like he can show you that there are, it's quality over quantity.
For sure.
Even if you just have
circles are very small.
Your man and one best friend, it's fine, and your family. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. You are such an inspiration, and that's why I wanted to have you on today, because I knew you would have stories to share that can motivate people. And you've motivated me. I had no idea you've overcome so much, and I really look up to you, and I think you're doing amazing work. So
more to do. Thanks for having me.
How should people find you?
Well, you can find us. We will have our podcast rolling out here pretty soon.
Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah, Steve and I are doing it together. It's called Unrestricted, last name Strict. So it's spelled STRICKTED.
Oh, I love that.
It's spelled restricted. Because I've always been restricted my whole life. So I'm going to try to be less restricted.
I like my podcast, Not Ashamed. Like just being yourself.
Yes. So there's that. And then, of course, Facebook, by my name. And then I'm What the Hell Big on Instagram.
I love your Instagram. I think it's so cute.
Yes. So you can Google me and find me anywhere, basically. But yeah, we'll be having our podcast come out this fall. So
awesome. We can't wait to talk about it.
It's a non-real estate topic.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Well, thank you. Kathy at How Big Strike. You have been such a great guest, so I really appreciate you.
Appreciate it, Ashley.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for listening. Until next time, be loud, be proud, and be shameless.
For more information, visit us at anskinbeauty.com to shop all our medical grade skincare.